Alright, this video is going to be about me reviewing these cheap Chinese, well, they're cheap, I don't know if they're crappy quality coils. They're just over 12 bucks free shipping on eBay. They're made in China. Figured I'd be the guinea pig and try these out. There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing you how to change out your coils, but these are specifically talking about these aftermarket coils. On my car, I noticed pushing it, I got a couple really quick misfires and instant check engine light. The ECU is actually designed to shut off the injector if it senses misfiring, so you're not just dumping fuel into your misfiring piston. So you can either shut the car off and restart it and then it will run smooth, or drive normally for like 10 minutes or so and then it will reactivate the fuel injector and actually allow there to be spark. So my injectors have, my coils probably have well over 100,000. You know, I'm sure a couple of them are original, so I get a couple of random misfires. It's nothing like what I was getting with my fuel injector issues. Completely different type of misfire, but either way, I figured I'd give these a shot if they're any good. See if they're any good. So I'll install them on the car and I'll report back, and I'll do a follow-up video just letting you know how they've been working out. So all in, I paid 72 bucks shipped to my door. It came pretty quickly. The company that makes these is called Herco. I just found them on eBay randomly. That's the part number. Single focus B04, made in China. Funny enough, they came with these little keychains each coil, and then the company that sent it to me included an air freshener, which is, I guess, kind of cool. So I'll toss these on the car and I'll let you guys know what I think. Changing the coils on this car is relatively easy, especially on my car because I have the Coil delete kit. Just makes it easier to get in here. These are 5mm Allen. And there's a couple at the back. I'm not really showing anything new here. There's tons of videos on YouTube walking you through how to change your coils, but just in case someone wants to watch them on one shot. 4 bolts. They're all 5mm Allens to get your valve cover off. And then you have the coils here. Just lift up on these tabs. It's easy if you do it when the car's cold. This connector will just slide out. I'm not worried about numbering them or putting them back in the same location just because I'm changing them all. These are kind of hard to pull out, so I usually use an extension. I'll show you. I like to just get a 6-inch 3/8 extension and just kind of lift up like that. Just use leverage to get these out. I usually use 2 hands. Just one hand on either side of this. Basically like this. It's a little more elegant when you do it that way. So once you've done that, just pull them out. I'll keep these just in case those coils I bought are really bad. An OEM coil. See if we can get it to focus. Looks like that. It's all black. It's got the boot. So this is what I'm replacing. They're all about the same age. Here's the coil I purchased, and here's the original coil. So, should work. Everything looks right. The depths and everything. The boot on this actually looks pretty decent. So, I'm gonna install them now. There's a little notch on the valve cover that you want to line up. So I'm installing them. One thing I noticed is you have to line up this little notch with a little notch on the valve cover. I'm used to like a very definitive click with those. These you get some kind of engagement feeling, but you don't get that reassuring, like, prominent click into place. But there's plenty of tension holding it on. So I just pulled it out with my hands, but definitely bottomed out, and then they're pretty good. As you can see. So when you put one of these Bosch ones in, the originals, when you put it down, you get a very prominent like click into place. I'll show now. It's not necessarily, you can just feel it more than hear it, and it takes a little bit of pressure to pull it out. I think these little notches here kind of grab onto the walls inside the actual head and kind of secure things. There's an extra level of security. This one not so much. So I think you're just feeling, you don't get that satisfying profound click into place because this rubber is just kind of getting in the way versus this shape. So I put it in. Hold on. This one you got to give it a good bottom out with your palm to be sure. One relatively cheap aspect of these is this boot. It slides down, so what can happen is you can easily just rotate it in the wrong direction and then it won't click into place as you would expect. You have to make sure you keep this rotated. There's no saying here. So this boot, you can slide it down, and as you're installing it could rotate like that, and then you won't get the click that you're expecting. It won't bottom out. So what you have to kind of do is make sure this is lined up when you're installing them, get it into place, and then when you're done you slide this down a bit to bottom out on the valve cover. So not as elegant and foolproof as the OEM ones. The OEM ones have a lot of tension. You can't just pull this down, it's not going to move around. Something to keep in mind, kind of showing you the cost, the price. So being conscious of the alignment of the boot, putting in number 4. So they're in there good once you get them bottomed out, as you would expect. But if you move that boot around a bit, you make sure you don't keep track of the alignment of this, then you may have trouble installing, so you gotta be conscious of that. If these turn out to be really crappy quality, I trust the sophistication of the ECU to notify me, pull timing, and shut off the injector. You know what? This car is not worth a lot of money, and I guess if it's going to save some money, I don't mind guinea pigging this, trying it out and reporting back to people, letting them know if they should or shouldn't do this. So it's definitely going to need a follow-up video, but it's an ignition coil. We'll know pretty soon if it's bad or not. If this was a basic car, didn't have as good of an ECU, I'd be weary putting on cheap stuff, because maybe the ECU won't pull timing or detect the misfire, and you could blow up your engine. So I get that for some people they'll say, why the hell are you cheaping out on an expensive car? I'm just putting myself out there, trying this out for the sake of everybody else, and it saves me money. I don't mind experimenting a bit if it's going to save money and it turns out that they're just as good. So they're all installed now. I'm going to make sure they are secure. They all feel good. Give them a final engagement press. They all feel good and bottomed out. So I'm going to start it up now and let's see how she runs. There's also a cold start. It's been off since last night. So injectors have also had a chance to reset themselves. As I reported in another video, they're still in perfect condition. Cold starts are great, and all the symptoms of bad injectors are long gone. But I did have an issue with a couple coils. I would say one or two. So there they are, running on these Chinese injectors, doing its warm-up procedure right now. Their cold start warm-up procedure is finishing. Very smooth. Maybe the ECU is going to do some adaptation to compensate for these these coils. But it looks like the daily driving aspect of these are going to be completely fine, nice and smooth. I'll shut it off and restart it again. Let's see how that looks. I'm happy with that restart. Just as you would expect. Give it a bit of gas. So yeah, I can say that these Herco, or whatever they're called, Herlux coils so far are checking out. I'm going to drive the car for a couple days, push it a bit, make sure it all feels good. Because I could have literally just driven it hard for 5-10 minutes on the highway and gotten it to act up. Considering the state of my OEM injectors, they were tired. I mean coils, my OEM coils, they were quite tired. So if this works out, great. $72 installed and done. That's a lot of savings for a car that's not worth a lot of money anymore. So it's definitely worth exploring these kind of things, because you got to keep these things on the road on a budget nowadays. So thanks for watching, and I'll report back in another video talking about how they've been doing.